Hey guys, my name is Miska and welcome to Overwatch Central, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at Ashe. And you might see this video and go, hey, how are Overwatch Central already so good at Ashe? How do they know what to do? How are they just pros already? And the truth is, we're not. Ryan and I have barely played Ashe ourselves. We don't really know how the character is supposed to be played. We're no top 500 players, Ashe only mains. But there's a lot of other things we have experience with. What we do have a lot of experience with, for example, is learning new heroes to a decent level at least. Talking to coaches, pro players, analysts, and lots of other people teaching Overwatch and following people that are learning new heroes themselves. And at the end of the day, this is kind of all that matters when a new hero or character is added to a game, as nobody's gonna know how to play that character exactly by the book and know all the little small tips and tricks that you can do to get better. Really, the Overwatch community is kind of learning new characters together when they do come out. So in this video we're going to be talking about how to go about that and how to actually learn Ashe and improve at the character, as there's quite a lot of things you can do. And the first part of this is just watching better players play, because this is a kind of boring answer, but man, it matters so much in any game that you've probably ever played. Sure, previous mechanical skill does carry over and does matter. Aim matters a lot with an aim-based hero like Ashe. Nobody's going to magically improve at aiming from watching just one video. I can't just tell you to be sort of doing one thing and then the next game you play you're gonna be applying that straight away and hitting every headshot in the game. That's never gonna happen. But watching better players play and picking up things that they do in their sort of routine and gameplay loop is super important and can really help a lot with kind of grasping the different sort of objectives you almost have with a character. Effect is one player that has gotten a lot of attention from his Ashe gameplay and streaming Ashe a lot. You've probably seen clips like these around, and whilst this is great play and all, it's mostly aim based. Mostly it's just hitting a lot of shots very consistently, and this is not something that just happened overnight where Effect just learned Ashe. This is something that's carried out of years and years and years of playing first person shooter games. But still, watching Effect and kind of understanding how he plays Ashe, understanding what is kind of a risky play that he was able to pull off due to very good aim, or what is just kind of simple positioning and small tricks here and there that he uses a lot to create consistencies in his games, can be really useful. So if you watch him play Ashe for an hour or two, you will most likely pick up a few things here and there that will help you learn the character in a bit of an easier way. Oh, and just real quick, we will have some very good Ashe players and streamers linked in the description if you want to watch some Ashe gameplay, and some of these are pretty good at explaining what they do and just being kind of educational as well. So yeah, check them out. And not too long on this channel as well, we will have a pro player from the Overwatch League talking about Ashe as well, as they've been playing the hero quite a lot actually. So yeah, anyway, let's get back to the video. And this is kind of when we get into the next part of it, which more has to do with what exactly to learn within that. And practicing yourself, and when you actually get into game, and how to do that, well, obviously matters a lot, as you can watch a pro player play as much as you want, but when you start up the game right after that, that skill isn't just gonna transfer over straight away. You kind of have to get that into the back of your head as well. Now, everybody is in the process of learning this hero currently, like I said. Nobody's going to be absolutely amazing right from the start. You're gonna have some shit games, and you're probably gonna have people telling you that you're not doing well, and you might even have to switch and just not play the character at all for a bit here and there. It's gonna happen. Don't force it. That doesn't mean that you should just give up though and then always listen to people when they're telling you to switch. Maybe you do know better a bit here and there. But compare this to learning other aim-based heroes and how, whilst aim matters, there's a lot of positioning going into it as well. Clever tricks with abilities here and there, and routine sort of reactions going into the game to get more consistent results out of it as well, and kind of up that win rate and up that rating. I had this a lot when learning how to play Reinhardt from a high platinum level up to a high masters level, where I tried to create more of a routine in my play, so I would spend less time thinking about what to do and more time getting better at those plays and actions instead. And when I was trying to get better at Reinhardt, a hero that I hadn't really played too much of, there were a lot of things that I felt were tricky at first, but I felt like I needed to really learn. And this meant that I actually dropped in rating first, then after that was able to work my way back up and even go past the first rating that I had, of course. And it's very possible that this might happen with you for Ashe as well. You might not do too well at first, but after you kind of start picking up some things that create more consistencies in your play, you'll start to do better. And if you get too frustrated, or if you run into one of those moments where you kind of feel like you played 100 games of Ashe and not really improved too much, then feel free to sort of make a decision to either take a break or just start playing another hero for now. Anyway, rather than talking sort of like learning theory, let's get to Ashe more in particular, as she does definitely still have some things that really apply to the character when both learning it, but also just abilities that are a little bit unique. So in terms of Ashe in particular, she has a slightly less punishing kit in a way, as just having a vertical movement ability at your disposal at any time can be extremely helpful when learning a new character. This is kind of similar to learning a character in a MOBA game, something like Dota or League, and playing a character that has kind of an escape ability or a quick movement ability. It allows you to mess up a little bit here and there and still kind of have an out. And also think about all those times where you as an Ana or Zenyatta or even McCree sometimes would really have liked to quickly take a high ground or another position, but you gotta move all the way around some objective to go up some stairs way in the back, and that is kind of where a movement ability comes into it. A movement ability like Ashe's coach gun is super useful when learning here, as it allows you to more often get into scenarios and positions that you kind of need to be in to get better at the character. Another thing I want to highlight about Ashe is the gun, and it's kind of interesting Blizzard's philosophy around this gun, because in general it seems like with a lot of guns that have scopes in Overwatch, you don't want to spend too much time being scoped or aiming in. In general, that's just kind of the case with a lot of snipers in a lot of games. You want to take one quick shot and then not spend too much time scoped, but Ashe is a little bit different, and figuring that out for yourself is very important. It can kind of differ a bit from playstyle to playstyle, but in general, you actually kind of want to stay scoped a little bit with Ashe's gun. You don't want to just take one shot and then unscope and then rescope. That's just not really kind of how the character plays. There's quite a lot of those sort of small things in how the character plays to figure out that you can only really learn by playing, but one thing I do want to mention as kind of a final thing for more specific tips for Ashe is don't underutilize the dynamite. It is an incredibly strong ability. I kind of thought about it myself when trying out the different sort of damage numbers and realized quite how strong it was, and I've seen quite a lot of pros as well mention here and there that the dynamite is a very good ability for Ashe. It deals quite a lot of damage, but just having that dot effect on someone as kind of like pressure is very unique in Overwatch. Genji used to actually have a dot on one of his abilities on the dash a while back, a long time ago. But this dot and the dynamite and the damage from it and the kind of pressure it provides is incredibly important. You don't really have an easy way to just remove the dynamite either unless you eat it as a diva. Whilst a Widow shooting kind of a mine at you doesn't really do a whole lot, Ashe throwing a sort of dynamite charge your way does quite a lot for pressure for Ashe's team. Pressure on that area, pressure on the team as a whole. And if you get a lot of damage comboed in with that as well, it might just be a matter of landing a shot or two here and there, and then you'll have yourself a pick as well. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about for the abilities, as I'm no Ashe pro myself and nobody really is right now. But I do definitely encourage people to go out there and learn. There's going to be quite a lot of odd sort of interactions in competitive and people not really liking you playing it. I tried out Ashe in competitive myself at sort of 3.3k-ish level and actually did okay. I had to switch at one point, but I played about 2/3 of the game as Ashe and I did alright and it was pretty fun, but the reactions were definitely there. As soon as I actually even picked the character, people were wondering if I was in voice comms and if Ashe was here, knew what they were doing, all that sort of stuff. A lot of those questions coming up. Just expect that. It's not really toxicity in a sense, it's just people not being sure about the character, and that can result in toxicity. So let's just kind of try to treat that with respect, at least as well as we can in the Overwatch community, and do as good of a job as we can at learning Ashe rather than spending time on the hero that doesn't end up being too useful. Alright, that's everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bit of a different sort of approach to this, but I wanted to make a video like this as a lot of people are talking about Ashe right now and I don't want to make a video pretending that I know exactly what I'm doing or that anyone really does, to be honest. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, of course. I would appreciate any comments just kind of about this type of format and about this way to approach these sort of topics. But yeah, that's all. Alright, cool. I'll see you guys next time.